Welcome everybody, you're here for the 1:30 pre-bid meeting for Gateway Greens South. We're going to do cleaning of our stormwater pipes and catch basins. That's a copy of the RFP.
So here's I can see.
Stephen is here with Tetra Tech, who's our engineering firm that assisted us with the specifications and the plans. So I'll let Stephen run our meeting for us.
All right, guys. Good afternoon. Like Michael said, my name is Stephen Agapi with Tetra Tech. This is a pre-bid meeting for the Gateway Greens pipe cleaning. Just a little background information. In 2013, 2014, Morris Riley did a lot of pipe inspections for Gateway. They provided reports, maps, and videos of the pipes within Gateway. Those are available for your review if you think it'll help you. So with that information, Gateway's slowly been cleaning all of the pipes that the reports identified as being necessary to be cleaned and or repaired. So that's where we are today, is cleaning the next phase, which is Gateway Greens. So I don't know if you had a chance to look at these maps. So highlighted in the red areas are the areas that we plan on having you guys clean this time. So essentially, I think it's pretty straightforward. We're asking you guys to clean the pipes that are laid out on the figures and clean out the head walls that are indicated in the figures. The material is going to be removed from the pipes and placed at a site within Gateway, which is yet to be determined.
Actually, we have a site.
We do have a site?
Up at the pool.
Okay, we do have a site on within Gateway.
So we'll collect the material and be relocating it to this specified area.
Yes, you'll be responsible for setting up an area with silt fences, silt screen to prevent erosion.
Mm-hmm.
The intent with this is to allow the material to dry out before it's hauled off, so we're not wasting a lot of time hauling water away. So we'll be able to dump the material. Hauling company will then be able to come and just get mainly dry material. So for you guys are just hauling to this site.
If you look up here on the screen up at the, this is the full site that we have, and we have a, we've got a area that's been dug out up there to put material in.
Oh, it's been dug out.
So the bid items are pipe cleaning, head wall cleaning, and catch basin cleaning. The biggest item is obviously the pipe cleaning, which is going to be a unit price item. Unit is linear foot, which price should include everything to get it cleaned and get the material moved out. So we also need to be protecting downstream and upstream pipes while cleaning. We don't want to be pushing any material just downstream and clogging the next pipe up. So plugging it, putting a small dam in there temporarily to get the material out, and then open it back up. Dewatering the pipe if need be, whatever method you want to use will be included in this unit price. With the head wall, we're going to be paying based on the head walls that are actually cleaned. With that item, we're asking that the head walls be cleaned within a radius of 10 feet from the invert of the head wall. So starting at the invert of the head wall, 10 feet out, all directions, clean to approximately 2 inches below the invert. Over time, a lot of material is stacked up in front of these head walls, and while we're cleaning these pipes that run out to head walls, we're going to clean the head walls as well.
So is that 10 feet, like say you've got the head wall like this, 10 feet that way and 10 feet that way, so it's 30 feet across the front?
10-foot radius from the invert.
So 10 foot square.
It's like a underneath a
Okay.
basketball hoop
Half
where they
moon.
have that half moon.
Okay.
Right.
half circle.
Half
Okay.
circle here.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
10-foot radius in front of the pipe.
Yep.
Yeah.
From the
From the
invert of the pipe,
Yeah.
10 foot out.
And around. Yeah.
Yep.
180 degrees
That's
Now
pretty.
is that 10 foot from the center of the pipe or 10 foot from the far end of each head wall?
I'm going with the center of the pipe.
Okay, that's my point.
We'll clarify that.
And there's a big difference.
Is that material to be sucked up, hauled out, or to be just moved out further into the lake?
So our bid documents allow for both right now. So if you have a feasible way to remove it from the lake, then that would obviously be,
If
what
there,
we would
as I
want.
say, if there's something there, because some of them, when you go out and look at them, there's not a lot there. So,
It depends on where you're at.
Each one of, each lake is individual.
If there's riprap and it's above the invert, does that material need to come out, or does it need to be?
There's
Put back
riprap
in.
stacked up in front of the invert, yes, that needs to be removed,
Removed or replaced?
replaced. You
Like
can put it off to the,
reset.
you can put it off to the side,
Yeah.
So
So you-
it doesn't be, it's
You don't
not
have to take
replaced.
the rock out, but you need to make that
Yeah, that's
below
fine.
the invert.
You're just keeping it below the
2
invert.
inches.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
yeah,
I guess we
okay.
can clarify that, Stephen, because if the riprap was there to prevent scour, I don't think that we want to remove it.
Right, well,
Right.
it's in the gateway details that there should be riprap, but, I mean, we ran into this issue in new construction where they put the head wall in and then, halfway up the invert, from the invert, it's all riprap, which
Yeah, you
is-
don't want that.
So-
we don't want that much,
Yeah,
so.
they
Right.
dumped
It
it.
needs to
that's why.
be, it should be flush with the invert of the pipe.
Right.
Okay.
We can clarify that.
Yes. The other bid items on there, one is a catch basin cleaning. This item is just to get a cost for cleaning the catch basins that Gateway may have you clean while you're out there. This is not a catch basin that's associated with any pipes that you're cleaning. When you're cleaning the pipes that are outlined on this, you're going to be cleaning the structures on the up and downstream side. So it says clean pipe X, you're gonna be cleaning that pipe and the structures at both ends of that pipe. So the other, so look at number 9, catch basin cleaning. It says no adjacent pipe cleaning, so, this report was done a long time ago. We don't know what the conditions are as of today, so while you guys are out there, we may have you spot clean, other areas. Okay?
So that would just be a box.
Yeah, just the catch basin.
Well, we ran into, I think you guys are doing some of that work up on Walden right now. We're running into 2 conditions. The regular side inlet catch basin, which typically has a
Beach trap.
manhole cover and a 5-foot square concrete box. Then we have the regular graded that's in the curb inlet, some of them single, some of them dual. They go into a box, which feeds another box where the manhole access to it is buried. And so we're having to dig up. I notice you're doing a lot of digging. Neighbors over the years have covered these things with landscaping. But in order to clean it right, you have to dig up that second box to get down in there and clean that material out, because I don't think you can get in there from the first box as I was watching your guys yesterday. But my point is that there's gonna be some digging, exploratory digging, to find that second box. Because yesterday I saw your guys, you had some that deep. And what we need to do is probably, because these neighbors, I know what some bitches will do. They'll come back in, get a truckload of dirt, and they'll fill it back in.
Right.
We need to be talking about
We
getting
have it.
donuts to raise them.
We're looking into that too.
Yeah.
Is hole number 1, do you have a picture of golf hole number 1 with like 6, 7, and 8 on it?
Gotta go north. Gotta go one more. You're starting to see it right up there.
No idea where.
Yeah, you just one more. You actually almost had it. Go back to that last one. Okay, see that trunk line going down hole number 1?
Yeah, on the western side of it?
Okay. No. Yeah,
This one.
right, exactly.
Yep.
There's a pipe, there's a main line trunk line. If I remember correctly, it's 36 inch, pretty close. Then it drops into 54 inch going into Lake 4.
Down here.
Yes, sir.
Make a big 90-degree cutback.
Right, because we wanted to go put a pipe plugger in there and it was like 90% clogged. Well, that trunk line going down hole number 1, are you gonna let us drive VACCONs down the fairway?
I don't know, you're gonna be able to go down the fairway, but you've got to stay on the cart path.
You can drive, you can drive VACCons on the cart
We have
path.
to have access to that deal.
That's
The only way I know
that's
you
the
can
only
do
way-
it,
That's the only way to get there.
the only way to get there, or you go in the grass to
Well, no,
the
point
right
I'm-
of
point I'm making
the
is
deal.
commercial divers can do it with no impact whatsoever. So you have a choice. VACCons drive along the cart path, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Or commercial divers go inside the pipe and clean it. So my question is to you, if we use VACCons, are we responsible for any cart path damage or any sod damage?
I'd say yes, and I'd stay off those cart paths as much as you
The
can to the
VACCons-
side.
Okay, so we need to drive, just drive on the side. 'cause
Stay on the
VACCons
side, yeah.
Stay away from the cart path.
Those cart paths, when you look at them after what the hurricane did to them, they're pretty bad condition right now. So if you took any type of a truck like the vac truck.
Are you fine with that,
You'll
Mike?
bust them up.
Tish? Are you
Well,
fine?
I mean, it's the only way to get there.
Because our easement is really on the pipe, the center line of the pipe, and it doesn't cross the cart path.
So we can drive a VACCon right down the side of the golf course.
I don't
in the
think you have
road.
any other choice. They don't have any,
And we're
there's
not
no other way to get
responsible
there.
for that, Mike?
That's, I mean, that's
For-
the only way to, and
It's
that's
a yes or no
that's the
question.
only way to get there.
Are we responsible for the damage, yes or no?
We'll address that.
Okay.
That's
You're
what we
talking
need
about
to do.
like whether it's either a turf
Well, it's-
issue or a
Huge
blacktop
issue. You
issue.
got a VACCon going up and down the golf
We get a lot of
course,
rutting, yeah.
big time. And that, I can tell you, that pipe is slap full.
Thank God it's over in the rough.
Yeah.
But it is, there are areas, good examples, when you get past hole number one,
Yeah.
there is a manhole right there, and there is no room between the manhole and the lake. And on the golf course side of it is the cart path. So you'll have to go on the cart path right there to be able to access it. Then past the number 2 tee box as
Yeah.
it goes, or it just goes past the green and comes to the back side of the tee box. That area there, you don't have any choice but to cross over.
I think that's something else that we can look at, to if there needs to be restoration, the district can look at that, understanding that, we haven't maintained these facilities in such a long time that, we can look at that also. Because
Can-
at the end of the day, it's the most cost-effective way to do it. I mean, however it shakes out, and if we have to help, we have to address restoration, that's something we will talk about.
Now,
We can
commer-
always, with us not being a diving company, but there's lots of them out there, we can always give you an option to have it done 2 ways.
That's my next question. Can divers clean that pipe? Pump the debris into a geo bag in the back of the dump trailer?
Yeah, I'm
And
okay
haul it
with
off? That's okay?
Yeah,
Is that okay, Tish?
Yeah, but we don't want, stuff going back into the lake from what you're pumping out.
But you can pump into a
Yeah, if you
filtered
can,
bag.
if you can contain it.
You can pump into a filter bag and let the water run back into the lake.
No, I'm not good with that, depending on what's.
So we have to pump into a bag and keep all the water?
You're not gonna accomplish anything doing that.
That's what I'm saying, that's impossible, is my point.
Yeah.
So if you pump into a filter bag and you let the water filter back into the lake, that's my question.
We're not allowed to discharge any water is what you guys are wanting.
I'm not, you've got a lot of pesticides and stuff that are inside these catch basins, that, along the golf course that you're taking out, and if you're putting it back into the lake, I don't know that that's the best thing for the lake. We'll address.
What's the designation on the deal, Stephen? Is the red overlay the pipes that have to be done?
yes,
So this segment here does not have to be done,
correct,
but this segment does.
that's correct. I mean, this is
This
based
is
on.
almost, I was there today, and this one here is probably, the water's third up on the pipe. So you do have water in there. The lake hasn't dropped enough to clear the invert yet, which would have been nice, because that is a mess in there.
Now, I'm talking about the red trunk line going right down the center of the golf course.
Well, no,
No, that's the
That's not
this,
quarter.
this is here's the fairway over here.
Okay,
And you're over on the side of the fairway
Right.
all the way.
But we're
And you can see the cart path right here.
Yeah.
Almost all the places except the little tight area there, and then down in here, it's tight
Gotcha.
to where the sewer is just next to the cart path. So you
And
should,
it shoots
you
over.
should be able to do well, we're not even doing that segment, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
You're only doing this one here. So you could be definitely in the grass and not get in the cart path.
under the oak trees.
Yes. Yeah, the 2 or 3 that are left after the hurricane.
But you're doing the end, the 54 inch going into Lake Fork, right?
Yep, you
Yes,
got that
everything
piece.
in red, all the pipes that are red are being cleaned.
Okay.
We're good on it.
And I believe it's a 54 going from Lake Fork across the street there.
So this line here is a area designation, correct?
That designates contract 1 fairway.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. That red and that other red kind of blend together there. Okay.
Yep,
So
And
that's
then-
not, them aren't pipes, them are just,
No.
all that is some sort of boundary you have?
yep, that's a boundary.
It's
for
a
the
boundary
contracts.
area line there. That red up there, this red is a pipe.
That overlays the yellow.
The overlays the yellow. Yeah. Yeah, that pipe starts here, comes back and goes all the way up to the number 1 tee box.
Okay,
And in fact, I take it back, it doesn't go to the tee box, it goes to Lake 108, where it has the feed out coming, and that's where it starts.
so
And it
yeah,
goes-
it sounds like you guys are wanting, because of the no discharge, this is pretty much gonna have to be done with back trucks no matter what, right?
If there's no discharge, I don't know how you're gonna do it any other way.
Right,
I'm not aware of what the materials are that's in those catch basins.
right.
Now, what does it
Chemically.
say in the contract though? Does it say that we can pump into a geobag and let the water go back in?
It does not address that issue.
It doesn't at all?
No.
Okay.
I don't have an issue with it, but if Gateway does not want that to happen, then that's. what
We'll
needs to
talk
happen.
about that now.
Okay.
We'll address that in the.
Now, the red one on the other side, that's the outfall from 104 to 105, correct? This
Yep.
one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's part of contract too.
Stephen, there were some, on the plans that came out with the bid set, there were some, I couldn't read, it wasn't legible, and I want to verify
Okay,
some of the structure numbers. I believe they're head walls and not drainage structures.
I've got a full-size set here you can compare your notes to if you wanna take a look at it.
Or we can blow it up on the TV too.
Yeah, I got a handful in Fairway Isles and Hampton Green.
A lot of times, Scott, when Morris Riley was doing that, I tried to get them when we were at a lake, and it was a head wall, used the term HW.
Yeah, well, they
Sometimes they did,
use
sometimes they didn't.
103-1, you know?
Yeah,
They said structure 103-2 to 103-1, but I think 103-1 is a head wall.
and
Same thing with
HW.
103-7,
That's that's a problem we had with them.
101-16. So, and it's
It says,
hard to,
You can
It
almost,
says HW 103.
Dash
Yeah.
01.
That's head wall.
Anything
Okay.
that's gonna be in the lake is gonna be a head wall.
That's correct.
It's not gonna be a
Right.
structure,
Yeah.
it's the outfall into the lake.
and in Gateway Greens, there were very, very few mitered in sections. Very few. They were almost all head walls. Some of the other additions, like Stony Brook, they did a lot of mitered in sections.
I was gonna say, for the most part, Ed, with Gateway Greens being built first, most of the stuff I have seen out there has been head walls.
Yeah, I think it is
haven't
too.
seen any
Yeah.
mitered ends.
but I mean, the whole problem is that Morris Riley they just call it structure.
Yeah.
They don't differentiate.
Well, they, some
Sometimes-
they
and you
did, some
couldn't
they
see
didn't.
everything on
Yeah,
here.
And
Yeah,
that was how many years ago, Morris Riley's?
13 and 14?
13, 14, yeah,
So 5 years ago, a couple hurricanes.
Yep.
yeah. And
This is the best information that Gateway has
that's the
currently.
best we got.
So the amounts of these materials in these pipes is probably,
It's, the ones that we selected were minimum of 20% based on the diameter, so it varies from 20% to, over 80%. All the reports that Morris Riley prepared indicated the exact amount of, material inside these pipes. You can review that if you would like.
where at?
Here, Gateway has a copy of that. Or
Yeah.
or do you have the Morris Riley reports for all this?
No, I think they've got a copy of them
Oh.
here. Yeah, we've got a copy of them here. What we did is we had videos, which is like looking through a submarine in milky water. You can't see anything.
Yeah,
But they prepared cut sheets, so every manhole to manhole or structure to structure had a designation, and those they couldn't get in, they would reverse and come back the other way. So you might have 102 to 101, 101 to 102. if you had a blockage. But what the premise was at that time, that anything that had any obstruction greater than 20%, we took the determination that that's what we were going to do. We might get out there and find segments like that one that Stephen had a while ago, that yellow one coming down. At that time, it was not 20%. It may be when you get out there and you open this one right here, you might see stuff back up there that'll knock your socks off. For 4 years of developing, it's way more than 20%. And we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess. I don't know what else we do, especially when you're cleaning up above it.
I'm
My
surprised you
guess
still
is-
aren't cleaning that on hole number 1, because all that water flows down that way.
We took the basis, I understand, we took the basis of the 20%
Right.
as a starting point.
I put pipe
When you
cleaners
have
on
the
those-
north end,
those
probably
pipes.
the common sense thing would have been is to do it all and be done with it.
And they
But
were
then the
around
cost would have gone
90%
through the
clogged.
roof, yeah.
Like 106, 107, 108. When we drain 106, 107, 108, actually we didn't drain 106, but 107, 108, we put the pipe players in.
Yeah.
The ends of those pipes are 100% clogged.
But when's price been?
Yeah.
I mean, 30 years.
Yeah.
Never been cleaned.
And then when I tried to put a pipe plugger in hole number 4, the 54-inch, it was about 90% clogged. Where that red is, y'all are planning on cleaning?
Up here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Other
the
side.
other side.
Oh, right here?
Yeah. So if it's, water flows that way and it's, I don't know.
I think what we've got to do, Mike, we've got to be prepared that when we're out there in the field and watching this, somebody's got to have the authority that when you do like that,
Yeah.
where we make that crazy double back pipe, somebody gets in there, we look up, that's either a 48 or a 42, as I recall.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to look up that, and I mean, you put a good
Right
flashlight in
there.
there, and if that thing looks like it's full, we got to be
There.
doing a change order, because to go upstream, clean that thing up, to only have this clogged, I mean, we haven't accomplished anything.
No.
So we're going to have some latitude there of how we do that.
It's a unit price contract, so,
Right. You-
I mean, if they wanna clean more 36-inch pipe, then as long as the budget can afford it.
That's the point. I think what we need to be doing is, once we get the bids in, see what that contingency factor is that we need to set aside, and how many segments we got to play with
Yeah, no, you're
that
right.
could be more than what we are dealing with. And to me, the first thing is those larger diameter pipes that get close to the discharge point. You're crazy if you're screwing around with it upstream
can't
and
get
can't get it
Right.
downstream. I mean, that makes no sense at all.
Right.
So we need to have that latitude when we get into construction.
Have these pipe sizes been verified?
Only by,
By the.
we had two
Right,
combinations.
yeah.
We had the original plans that Tetra Tech did that created 24 by 36 inch drawings, 1 to 100 scale, that were based on the supposedly as-built drawings. As-built drawings here and storm sewers don't go together real well.
Right.
We got what we got. Then when Morris Riley went out, if Morris Riley was in a pipe and they saw that it was a 36, but it was called for a 48 or vice versa, they were to annotate that on the cut sheets, and we think we caught those. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that every one of those are going to be exactly what you find.
Yeah, because it makes a huge difference in, like, when you say, okay, well, this was a 2-foot pipe, and you get there and it's a 6-foot pipe, you're like, well.
I don't think you have
it's
anything
all the
like
way
that.
full.
I could see where you could have a 24 to a 30, or a 24, I wouldn't think a 24 to an 18, that's a pretty big drop off. But, or a 30 to a 36. Keep in mind, when most of this was done, it was all done with, what's the word, that little submarine.
Yeah, you know.
And everything was submerged.
No, it was a pull-through little joker.
Oh,
It was all
Yeah, line through
submerged,
and pull
so,
through.
And if there are
no control over it.
discrepancies,
Look at
if
the
we
video
have
you're done.
what we have shown in the plans, if it's not the correct size, we'll,
But you're gonna get
But you're
paid
unit
for what
priced
the size
anyway.
is in the ground.
Yeah, you're gonna get billed for what it is.
We will note that, and you'll be paid
Yeah.
according to the size of the pipe that you put.
who's gonna manage the spoil pit that you guys have out there?
What do you mean manage it?
When you go to dump the material, who's gonna manage all that material over there?
You mean with the ultimate disposal?
Yeah, no, like, okay, so we go and take it, we just go dump it over there in that area.
Well, I was gonna say, you're gonna probably need a bobcat or something, so you can, depending on how much comes out, so you can move stuff around.
Okay,
I mean, it's gonna be incumbent upon you to manage that pile.
okay,
Installing the silk fence.
How
How big
deep-
of
how
an
deep-
area is it?
okay.
How big is, what's the square, is it an acre?
And
Well, I mean.
not quite an acre. I mean, it's up behind the pool. It's, I mean, 60 feet by about
100.
80, 100 feet.
100 by 100,
100 by
50,
60.
yeah.
100 by 60, so it's not that big.
No.
No, but there's plenty of room.
Yeah, you're
It
not
was-
gonna need a bobcat.
Okay.
No?
And is it dug out, what did we do, just dig out a couple of inches, or just take the, what do you call it, the turf off?
It's not like run and
Just took the grass off? Okay.
100 tons of material out of here.
Well,
There's room to, make it larger.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's the worst case, is you just make it a little
Right,
bit bigger.
That's what I was saying.
Is the water perking? I think it'd be perking like crazy right now.
It's
It
a
was
really
dry to
high
China.
site. That's,
Yeah.
it's a really high site, so.
That's the other thing, we don't have a problem with groundwater. That's the highest site we have.
That's about the highest place in Gateway, yeah.
Yeah, it should drain pretty well.
And where does that water drain to? And where the spoil pit is?
Just into the soil.
Oh, with the
Perk-
water,
It's perking.
oh, okay.
Yeah, it's perking all.
And that's where all the toxic stuff's in stay? Okay. I'm just curious.
I hope there's no toxic stuff there.
Yeah.
Trying to think there was another issue that came up. Catch basins being covered. We want to identify those in the field, because somehow, some way, we've got to come back and raise those. In a minute. There was another
We're looking
issue
at that to find something from you, that we can get stuff from utilities to address just the height of manholes.
Yeah. Oh, I know what, you'd said it earlier. If you have a pipe segment, the pipe segment is inclusive of the structure at the up end and the down end.
Correct.
Okay.
So that the lineal footage for that
It's
pipe
just the
runs
pipe.
through the structure or not?
Just the pipe.
Okay.
Because the plans show that it doesn't go through the structure, it's from one end of the structure to the other. It's, the linear foot is from structure to structure.
I'm sorry,
Structure to structure.
is the lineal footage?
That's
Yes.
how it was on the plans, yes.
I don't know how
Okay.
you do it because they're
Okay.
inset.
I mean,
The
you
ones
know,
I
there's
saw you
different
guys
ways
doing
to
yesterday were
measure, so
inset,
that's
like
why
2 to 4 feet. Hell, I'm not.
You're
gonna
measuring
measure
through the
that.
structure
That's
for that
ridiculous.
diameter pipe.
I go center of the manhole and we'll call it even.
Is
Well,
that
because the
cubic
linear
feet?
feet on the plans was just from structure to
linear
structure,
feet.
not
Linear
from
feet.
structure.
Linear feet?
Of pipe.
Okay.
Yep.
Right,
This,
that's
the
different
linear
than what
footage
I
of the pipe
thought you
is
just
based
said,
on the
okay.
Morse Riley report. So if you guys get out there,
All the segments added.
you know, this is saying, you know, WL2 to 2 to WL2 to 1 is 183 linear feet. If you guys say, hey, it's actually like 215, you know, we'll go out and help verify that with you guys, and then we'll adjust the total price, you know, with you guys. But that's what we're going off as the basis of the
But you're
quantity.
measuring from edge of structure, inside edge to
The pipe.
inside edge, where the
Yes.
pipes are joined, but we have to clean structures on either end.
Yes.
Okay.
And haul it off.
Yeah, okay, just making sure we're all on the same page. Yeah.
Now, there could be some really large debris that are in some of these pipes that are lodged in there potentially, right? I mean, you
They
just never know.
They verify. They actually provide information where there were blockages at the time, and there were no. I didn't have any on this set.
Oh, there's
There could be
rocks.
something now, though.
Concrete.
There's
trees.
concrete, trees.
Yeah, it's been a
Right.
couple of years. There might.
Well,
who knows
look,
what's in there now.
construction bricks and the ones up there on Walden.
Yeah, actually,
Trees.
Gateway.
Yeah.
So
Live.
when they're done, it has to be
Like a-
video that's 100% clean, all rocks, all
95% clean.
95.
And what about, you know, if you've come up and the mud into the pipe, into the structure is balled off and all that? I mean, I know there's only one grouting,
Right. Well, we'll.
those repairs are over and above.
Yeah, it'll just be a change order as needed,
Okay.
based on.
Call it to your
And
attention.
again,
Yes.
some of that stuff you might run into when you get in there. You might find stuff that was not there because it was 4 years ago.
Yeah, you'll find it.
Where are the quantities at for this? Like, okay, so say,
If you go to page 34, Michael, right after this stuff.
No, it's on the,
There's the bid sheet support, these sheets.
okay, these are your quantities that are how much
That's the-
material is
right.
estimated in the pipe?
No.
No, this
Nope.
is lineal
There you
footage.
go.
It's all based on linear footage. We did not estimate the
They're
quantity.
basing it on 20% debris.
Oh, it's all based on 20%,
Or
so.
more.
Or
No,
more.
That's
we're-
the minimum.
Yeah, we chose pipes that had at least 20% blockage and above, And those pipes are listed here. This is how long those pipes are.
Oh, that's such a huge difference in material though.
Yes, it is. You could have a manhole-to-manhole segment of 100 feet, and Morris Riley could have come out and said that we had 8 inches of material in that, and they'll tell you from station X to station Y, of that 100 feet, that 8 inches may have only been in 10 feet, or 20 feet, or 30 feet.
We have the reports, you can look at them.
Yeah.
It says, 20 feet to 50 feet, there was 5 inches. From 50 feet to 100 feet, there was only 1 inch. From 100 to,
That's what
200 feet, there was 8 inches.
Yeah, but if there's 90 or 100% blockage in there,
But then
at
That's,
this point.
that's in the report as
Right.
well,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you can
Well, I
look at
mean,
that.
now, it could just be all blocked up a whole lot worse than it was. I know.
And that's
Okay.
what we'll find out probably pretty
Rather
quick.
than pay for a whole nother inspection, just start getting the work done, right? Like, you can't keep
Oh, you
looking
need
at it.
to
If-
It's too costly.
If you start on that one that we
Clean
talked
yourself.
about, on the golf
Yeah.
course, right off the bat, and go down to that one, in my opinion, that one's gonna tell you a lot right
Yeah.
off the bat. If there's one that would be susceptible to have in 4 years to gotten worse, it'll be that one. Because the velocity in there is minimal.
When's the bid opening?
2 weeks from today? 2 weeks from today? Or a week from today?
22nd at 5 o'clock.
So the 22nd, and how quick can you get a notice to proceed after the award it?
It has to go to the board first.
When would it go to the board?
It would go to the board the first week of June.
First week of
The
June?
third, what is that, the third? First Thursday? Third?
Contract time is 300 days.
So, in other words, by the time we get the notice to proceed,
It's gonna be rainy.
it's gonna
It's gonna
be
be June
rainy.
7th.
June
June
7th,
7th.
rainy season.
So you can
And
get
we're
as much
opening
work-
bids the 21st?
Second?
22nd. That's the other reason I extended the
Well,
contract
that's.
time so long
yeah,
is
that's
that
all you can do.
you might be able to start, but I wanna have you to have the ability to come back in after it stops
Shut it.
raining.
December.
That will keep
whatever.
you'll be engaged with us for the contract to come back, you can schedule that then as time permits. When things are much more favorable to do it than during the wet.
So
What-
from June 7th, 90 days, did you say, or?
300 days.
Oh, 300. Oh,
But June 7th is the day we have our meeting and the board.
But we could have a notice to
board will
proceed
decide.
ready to go that day.
On Friday, I'd say
Yeah.
the next day,
Yeah,
on
the next
Friday,
day.
on June
Now,
8th.
these pipes, do they need to be videoed, or can we,
Yes.
put a flashlight in and take pictures, or how does that verify that it's clean?
I don't know if a flashlight pictures is gonna cut it.
You won't
Is
be
it
able
what
to
it
see.
Depends
say-
on-
say in the contract?
No, it's gotta be video.
Okay.
So. I mean-
So it's just gonna be a post-construction
TV
video.
or ROV, either one.
Yeah.
Well, keep in mind too, these lakes are way down, so those water levels aren't gonna come up with the first rain.
Well.
They're down that
and
far.
in 300 days, you bid the job now, you get the contract, you come back next year when it's dry.
It-
I mean, that's a
if-
no-brainer. I see
Or
what
you,
you're
or
doing.
you work until July
Yeah.
when you get
You can't
rained
work.
out. You can't
Yeah,
work
in other
anymore.
words, they're not in a hurry to get this pipe done.
Well,
Well, the residents are for one reason.
Okay.
We get a hurricane and then these
But
things
we
have
have
blockage,
300
or water's gonna
days.
be in the
We have
houses.
300 days, so if someone comes in
We
and
understand
tries
that.
to bid at dry pipe price, $2, $3 a foot, and it's not dry.
Well, your
then
only
they wait
choice is
300
you just
days,
wait. You
and
have
they
no
come and do
choice.
it next spring. That's what's happening there.
The other one is the golf course is going to be closed, I think the 16th to the 23rd of June. So this would work great for all that golf course work to be in there while it's closed and they're doing their maintenance. You won't have any golfers to deal with or having to worry about on hole number 1.
Yeah, what were those days?
I think it's the 16th to the 23rd.
Any other questions?
Mm-mm.
I just wanna verify, where the head walls are. We'll look at the bigger plan when we're done here, that's all.
Well,
There'll either be a head wall at the lake or a mitered in section.
Yeah, and I think Mike's right. In Gateway Greens, there were very few mitered in sections. It's pretty much all head walls. I can't think of one right off the bat where it's not a head wall.
Scott, in the PDF, they're the appropriate size. You should be able to zoom in and verify on your computer.
Okay, I just had it blown up in there. I was reading this, I wasn't zooming in on the
Okay.
plan, so it's, That was my issue, that's all. It's just a handful, and I'll look it up. I couldn't even read some of the structure numbers, because they were, I don't know, they blurry, whatever.
Any other questions after this meeting? We don't have to wrap up now, but they need to be submitted in writing, and then we'll respond.
I just
in
wanna
the
make sure I
agenda.
understand this. We can bid this job, and we can wait all the way till February next year to do it.
300 days to completion,
Yeah.
so. as
I
long
mean, if you can start now, you know, ideally.
Well,
you-
That's not my question. I
Yeah.
can bid this job and I can do it in February next year.
as- Well, the contract says 300 days, right?
Yes.
So they-
There you go. I just wanna make sure that's clear.
Yeah, I think we gotta watch that, that the intent is that until the
Yeah, you
rainy
don't wanna
season.
drag your feet.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
because we
to
wanna
help.
we wanna get as much clean as
Right.
we can in a
But you
reasonable
don't wanna
period of
cause a
time, but
problem.
I'm not wanting
Right.
everybody to be underwater either.
Right.
Because that's ridiculous, hauling all the water, that's
Right.
just ridiculous.
No, I totally agree. I'm just
Yeah.
making sure that I understand we can do that though.
Why can't we work in the rainy season?
You can.
You
We
can,
can work in the
we
rain.
can, I think you're just gonna be hauling one hell of a lot of
Costs
water.
more money, you gotta plug the pipes off, you
Yeah.
get, right now, a lot of these pipes are dry.
Yeah, yeah, if you wanted to go in there with bladders and bladder them off, you could limit the amount of water you got for sure.
Drain them, pump them
Yeah.
down, all that crap.
Yeah.
Right now, you just blow and go, and then wait until February, blow and go again.
You know.
Did we list on the drawings any place where the contractor went in, Morse Riley went in and then had to turn around and come back and go the opposite direction? Because I know on their cut sheets, I'm gonna say maybe half a dozen that are in this part of Gateway, where they went in one way and then had to go the other way. But something was in there that blocked it.
So, Mike, you're gonna clear up the question on,
This said, guys.
sediment in the,
And the geotubes.
the geotubes, whether you can,
Submit, as I say, submit your questions to us in writing, and we will respond.
Have we taken any samples of any of the manholes to determine that there's even any issue there?
No.
What, if we can take some samples of 6 or 7 manholes and select them,
And
take
the
them to a
material.
lab and just say, is there anything in here that's bad?
90% of the material's coming from the lake anyway.
Well, run off the streets, yeah.
Very
well, it's
thick
all
catch.
been flushing anyway for
It's been flushing.
30
for
years.
30 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's all one system.
Yeah, it's within the
I've been
system.
crawling through them for almost 40 years and
I'm pretty healthy.
Now you gotta wear a copper,
I gotta wear a copper fit.
You got a couple extra toes, I
Yeah,
thought,
I know,
no?
we will clarify that for you in the addendum.
Okay.
Which needs to be submitted with your bid as well.
Because I found out that the county uses their material when they pull out there.
They do, they,
They use it for the
For
side of
fill.
the roads.
they do, yes.
So they take that toxic stuff and put it all down the side of our roads.
Yeah, I can't picture that we have anything, but it would be nice to know that, and then we would be pretty covered on it, yeah. I think the key is that we've got all the rest of Gateway Greens that's in the same boat. So we're trying to figure out, I'll be interested in seeing what we're looking at dollar value on the unit price to be able to apply this to the other sections.
Right.
Because we haven't started to scratch the surface of all of Gateway.
Well, that was my question, Ed, is, you know, you go south in the commercial area.
We've done the
Whole nother
entire
world.
community, and we're looking somewhere, based on our best guesstimates of numbers, 2.4 million.
Yeah.
If only one bidder bids this job, do y'all have to throw it out like y'all have in the past?
No, the purpose was, I mean, we did these sections, the way that Tyler and Stephen divided up is that, you look in these areas, and you're looking for the best price in each in each contract area. There's 7 different areas.
Right.
So depending on, say you've got good price for 1, 2, and 3, and then one of these other gentlemen have better prices we're gonna take the best price in those particular areas, so that's,
But my question is,
so we could potentially have
Could be up to the
3
board.
contracts.
in the public bid, we got 3 companies here bidding. If 2 companies don't bid and 1 company shows up, like what happened to me twice.
We gotta look at the prices, because my opinion is that you can't make somebody bid.
Okay,
If the price is a reasonable price,
yeah,
and just somebody didn't want to bid it either because of the volume and the size and the amount of work, that they didn't allow them to do that, that's nothing that we can control.
well,
And
then how
also
come they
they-
didn't award it to us, and they told us that they had to put they couldn't award it to one bidder,
You put it out for bid,
alright?
and then you go from there as to
You remember
what.
that, Scott, don't you?
You put it out for bid, and this is my opinion, you put it out for bid,
Yeah,
but you can't hold a gun to somebody's head to make them bid.
And ultimately, it's the decision of the board if they wanna, they're looking at the numbers and if they're comfortable with going with it or not. It's ultimately a decision of the board of how they wanna proceed.
okay.
Unless something is really awry, my deal is Lord Mayor, this stuff's gotta get done. This has gotta get done. I don't wanna go through another hurricane and have water going into houses.
Oh, that's
It
my
was
point
dangerous
exactly.
last time
I'm gonna bid this job like it's wet and try to get this done through the summer.
through the summer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the method is definitely gonna be a big factor.
You
If
wanna
you can
pick-
discharge
yeah.
back into the waterways, because doing it with back trucks, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, what you were talking about is essentially a strainer. You catch all the big stuff, let the water go through,
Through.
retain that material, haul it off, and the water returns back into the flowway.
Into the
Right.
system,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like dredging companies do all the time. I mean, it's
Well,
not
if you're always
new.
starting at the high end and going to the low end,
Right.
that's a fairly easy way of doing it. Because you just discharge the water back into the manhole, it goes on down, and you're always moving downstream.
Right.
I don't think I'd wanna be doing that going upstream. That'd be a little bit like, how many times you gonna do this before you learn that ain't the way to do it.
Well, when it comes out of the geo bag, it's clean water, so it's not gonna be silting in the pipe. So that's my thing, is if you can pump it in.
Yeah, the issue is what is the toxicity of the water?
Right.
Yeah. Or is there anything that's in the chemicals that would cause it, or in the manholes? I think a couple of tests on that real quick like will tell us, from what I've seen up there in Walden Lakes, there's nothing.
Vatcons for
There's
years,
nothing there.
they drain their water, they suck as much as they can, drain their water, suck as much as they can. When they get full, they go dump. And they're
Yeah.
draining their water right back into the catch basins. So my question is, and this is a very important question, when the Vatcon fills up with water, do they have to go to the
They
dump
gotta
site?
go to the dump site,
and
as it is
dump?
now, yeah.
They cannot
Drain.
reach their water into the catch basins? Okay,
Can't purge.
okay.
Well, let's bring that question
'Cause
up.
that, a lot of vat companies do that.
If we didn't have the issue of the toxicity, and then let's say that was off the table, and you've got a 1,000-gallon truck? 1,000 on your tankers?
Of clean water?
Dirty water,
No, it's
500?
it's like 2,400.
2,400, okay, so if we went 2,400, how do you physically dump that water out of that vac truck? In other words, how do you siphon it to keep the solids that you dumped in there separated? How do you do that?
It's got a purge
Yeah,
valve.
it's really easy.
So where are you taking the water?
But we don't do that.
No, I'm saying,
Yeah.
can you do that?
Yes.
So you could take and fill a truck with 2,400, and instead of going back to the site, that last manhole you just cleaned, you can run clear water back into the pipe.
Well, it won't be clear.
It has, it's
It's
turbidity, I mean.
Okay, so I didn't mean clear, it doesn't have debris
not-
in
It's
it.
solids, no
As-
solids.
It's not a
Okay.
solid.
Right.
It's called, it's a purge valve.
Okay.
The tank fills up and the
Sediments.
solids settle out, and then you purge the water off.
But
the
you're
top.
purging from the top.
Correct.
Okay, that's what
It
I
all
was getting
depends
to.
on if you're getting paid by the job or paid by the hour, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, when you're getting paid by the lineal foot,
Yeah.
that addressed that.
There you
This-
go.
Yeah. If you were being paid on an hourly rate basis, it would be a different issue.
Absolutely.
You'd be doing one hell of a lot of purging, I can tell you that right
Yeah.
now.
No, if you're getting paid by the hour, no, you're not gonna get.
No, from
yeah.
our perspective,
Right.
you'd be doing a lot of purging.
Exactly.
I don't want you running back and forth for the hell of it on an hourly rate, purging.
Right.
Yeah.
Whose ox is getting gored is what that's about.
Exactly.
But at this point in time, I think we find out the answer on the chemicals, and that solves 90% of the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great. I'd like to go take some
Who-
samples myself.
Right?
I got a perfect, I can send it to the Watersheds Laboratory, DeLand, Florida.
Well, I would think that we can get the answers to that pretty quick and know
Yeah.
what our exposure is.
Jeff Keys could do that real quick for us.
Can you guys explain that number 9, catch basin cleaning again? No adjacent pipe cleaning, what does that mean?
All right, so this was intended to allow Gateway to have you clean valley gutter, catch basins in the road, or other structures that aren't indicated on the plans to be cleaned.
And that would be part of the bid.
Yes, so you would just.
So you're saying structure only?
Yes, just
You
structure only, no
Clean that
pipes.
box and you wouldn't clean any
Into
pipe
the pipe,
going into the
yeah.
box.
Hey, we're in this area, we're out here, we noticed that these 2 valley gutters are like completely full, the sumps are overfilling. And you just clean these out while you're out here, you know, that's your price. It's not gonna, it might not be 5, might be more, might be less, might be none. So
When-
it's
when
just-
But no more than 5.
it could be more, yeah, it's just to get a price for them.
When we had Irma, after Irma came through, we had a lot of water that was ponding that we found out that debris had gone into the catch basin, and it was plugged at that point. Now, it could be plugged also in the pipe, and Morris Riley's deal would have either shown it or didn't show it. But if they didn't show it and it was plugged, we were finding it was right at the structure.
Let's just say, Brad, you went in right there on Gateway Greens and cleaned out that first structure on the right-hand side during, but,
Sewer Bureau did
Right.
that.
I thought you did that.
No, Sewer Bureau.
That was right after
Yeah.
Irma.
So if there was more than 5, say on that first one there, contract 1.
Sure.
If there was more than 5, that would be in order for a change order if you guys wanted more than that clean.
We would just pay you at that unit
It's
price.
unit prices.
Okay,
So you do,
Oh.
it's $1,000 per each one, you do $6,000,
got you.
7,000.
And general requirements, that's your bid documents and your bonds and all that.
You have to be a general contractor, right?
Yes.
Yes.
MOB and demob and general requirements is gonna be 5%. Was it 5%? I think it was 10% of the
Maximum.
bid price.
Maximum allowed.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Say that one more time.
Typically, when you have a bid item for that, you're limited to the maximum amount of like either 5% or 10% for that item. So if your total contract was $100,000, for that item, you can't bid. If it was a 5% match, you can't bid over 5,000.
Okay, so that one is 5% on
It's
the.
No,
10%.
I didn't know, I
10%
used that
max.
as an example. He
Yeah,
said
it's not included, it'll be included in the addendum to identify the max percentage of those. So 10% for your MOB, demob, 10% for general requirements.
Thank you.
I'm going to listen to the audio and try to get as many of these questions answered in an addendum. If you guys have additional questions or something you really wanted answered, make sure you submit it in writing.
Just one last question. If you do use commercial divers, they have to be hard hat commercial divers?
Yeah.
That follow federal, state, OSHA dive guidelines?
Yep, that's in our contract.
Okay.
Was mandatory pre-bid meeting.
This is a mandatory pre-bid.
So what we see is what we get.
Okay.
Okay.
What about subs?
I don't know how that applies, that's,
So you're
I would
saying
assume
that-
you
If
could
you're a general
sub,
contractor.
yeah, I would just,
Yeah, you can have.
I don't think that
you can have
matters,
subs. I mean, you have to be here to bid. The
Lot of times
people in
subs
this
aren't
room are the
elected
ones that
at
bid,
this
you can have,
I don't
subcontractors.
Okay.
When are the questions due by?
72 hours before the bid opening.
Okay.
I would hope you would get them in much sooner. It's gonna be a very tight turnaround.
And if you're going over there on the way back, I'll let them know that at the gate, main gate into Gateway Greens.
We
that-
can also, Stephen, we can adjust it,
So that
because
you get
if
in.
people have questions,
And
we
no
want to be
problems
able to
for them.
address their questions probably more days than that ahead of the submitting the bid. We'll address that in the addendum very shortly, when your questions need to be in by.
Oh, so that 72 hours is gonna change probably.
I don't want to wait till the last minute,
Yeah.
I mean, it would be your benefit to get them in sooner.
because
Did you
also
say
we
bid
have to,
opening
any
was
questions
7th?
that, any
When was the bid
questions?
opening, Mike?
22nd.
June 22nd.
Is any questions that you ask have to be put
No,
out there
May
so
22nd.
everybody, that are available to everybody?
May 22nd on the bid opening.
At 5.
Was there anything that, when you guys are doing some of that stuff out there, anything that you ran into that would conflict with what has been said? since you're out there doing it right now? The only thing I saw that bothered me were those buried manholes.
Right.
You had to dig those stupid
Trees
things out.
planted on top of
Yeah,
them.
trees planted on them. Uh-huh.
And what do you do about that? We gotta
Dig them out.
We gotta dig them out, cut them down.
Well, I don't know that, I think
It's in
that,
it's in your
It'll be
contract
roots, not
documents.
trees.
yeah, that it's more roots and just a pain in the butt. You know where it's at. It's about 4 feet back off the edge of the curb is where the manhole's located, so you'll find it really quick. The only trouble is you might be excavating that much dirt around it to
No,
be able to
they're
access it.
uniform, these structures.
Yeah, they're all exactly the same.
They're all the same, they'll
Just
be
a
a
duplicate.
set distance from the edge of the curb and gutter, they're approximately 36 inches from the curb and gutter.
But not all of them have the junction box behind.
Only the ones that have the grading in the street have the junction box behind, is what I've seen. The ones that have the side inlets on the curbs, no, not a drop down, but a flow in, side, I call them side inlet.
Yeah.
Those only have a single manhole in it, and then once you open the manhole, there's a plate there that's got like a scum baffle.
It's a bathroom.
Oh, okay, it's
Yeah.
it's a weir of.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
whereas the ones that have the street deal, whether it's a single or a dual, you go into a structure and then you go into another structure,
Behind
which
it.
has behind it, which has the outlet pipe that goes, to the lake.
And that's,
And-
backside of the box has a ring and cover.
Yes, and what, the thing that's amazing is where I thought that those only had maybe a 6 to 12 inch invert off the bottom, was that some of those 3-4 feet,
5 feet.
5 feet up, which I didn't understand that at all.
Well, that's fantastic, because that's what's been catching everything, we haven't had a problem.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the
You mean the
good
sump is that
side to
deep
it.
or?
Yeah,
5
some-
foot sumps on
So,
some.
yeah, the catch
But the invert
basin
is up, I mean,
up that high,
And
yes.
they're filled up to the invert.
oh my gosh.
Well, it's just with water irrigation, they irrigate constantly and the boxes stay.
Got all the leaves.
No,
come in,
debris in
and,
them, too.
the Organics.
It's not that much, but I mean,
The ones I've seen had
Yeah, some of those they did yesterday had 5 feet of.
Where are
debris
you
in
working,
them, yeah,
Chris?
I saw them.
What time
Sometimes they
is it?
change elevations too.
What's the
Pipe
name
down
of
lower,
the
pipe up
neighborhood?
high.
Walden.
Walden.
Okay.
That's not in this area here, but I'm gonna tell you, it's not gonna be any different.
Yeah, yeah.
And there is no written report for the material that was found in the pipes or anything, just video?
There is a report for when you do your pay app, but I guess we will need the video.
no, he was
to
asking if there's
verify.
Morris Riley.
You mean the Morris Riley report,
No,
just the cut
existing,
sheets.
Stephen, yeah, existing.
Oh, okay, okay.
And the cut sheets,
Just
we
8.5
get
by-
access to these, or no?
I don't know why you wouldn't be able to get access to
No,
them.
you have access to those, where's that, packet that you had put together? You could scan that, I could email that to everyone.
That would be good.
It's at home, I can get that,
Okay.
yeah. That's the one you use to write the
Don't use a
report?
joke, don't waste
I heard you.
The one that the 3 reminders that you gave back to me.
Yes.
Yeah, I got those, you can have them back,
Okay,
and then just make photocopies of it.
yeah.
We can post it on our site and then you can download it, because it's gonna be like very large.
Hey, you're probably looking at,
I mean, just for these areas, I can get that to you guys.
Figure 50% off.
80, 90 pages, something like that.
A lot of them were
It won't be
on
that
the
bad.
lighter side, I thought anyways.
20 to 50% across
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
board.
but then again, Morris Riley did this 5
Yeah.
years ago.
That's the
But
problem.
the key is, do they wanna pay for it now, or they wanna pay for it later, that's what's happening.
I think being proactive, there you go.
So you're gonna have an expensive price to do it during the summer, you're gonna have a cheap price.
So do we have any more questions?
Are you pointing at us like we're for sure winning?
Oh, no, I'm just
Like-
calling it how it is, no, I'm not pointing at you, I'm just.
Okay.
I just wanna
I'm
get
not pointing
this
at you.
done.
It's a little